Hello, CJ. Sorry, guys, we're going through some technical difficulties right now. But I should have Josh Sussman on relatively shortly. Just going through a little bit of technical difficulties. Hello, everybody. We should have Josh in here soon. There we go. Okay, guys, here's Josh Sussman.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Sorry about those technical difficulties.
Yeah, to everyone, I was gonna do this on my computer, but it says I could only do it on a mobile. So I propped my phone up against an old shoe, so I could I don't have to hold it the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you, Josh. Guys, this is Josh Sussman, who played Clayton on Drake and Josh, and I am extremely honored to have him here on this live. Good friend of mine. So we will be, answering questions. So feel free to send them in, whether that's for me or for Josh or, for both of us. Feel free. So
Can I start with the question? I have a question.
yeah, sure.
Why? Yuck. I never found out the answer. Do you have any theories?
No, I really don't. Just seemed that Drake really wanted to spit in that water.
Yeah, so it all worked out, and it made people happy, and that makes me
Absolutely.
happy.
Absolutely. Here we are over 15 years later after the episode aired, and we're all still just absolutely loving it. So
Yeah, how cool is that? When I filmed my 2 episodes of Drake and Josh in 2006, and they came out in 2007, and I had no idea. I would have never predicted that almost 18 years later, people would know about it or talk about it. It's just I feel like the popularity of Drake and Josh has grown and grown and grown.
So we have our first question here. I'll read it off to you from Tommy Null. He says, "How often do you get recognized from Drake and Josh?"
Very frequently. Though I don't always know. Or very frequently that I get recognized, and it's usually for 3 things. And the 3 things are Drake and Josh, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Glee. And what's amazing about that is, so I was on 21 episodes of Glee, but I'm on just 2 of Drake and Josh, and I'm on it for less than 2 minutes. So the fact that that's up there and just as often, and sometimes more often than something like an Emmy-winning, Golden Globe-winning show like Glee, it just shows how huge the show is and how memorable the role of Clayton was. But sometimes you don't know. Sometimes people recognize you, but they don't want to go up. They don't want to bother you, or you could see them kind of looking or pointing, or they're just talking to their friends. They think they're being subtle, but I could see in my peripheral vision that they'll, hey, yeah, that's the guy. But I don't always know what it's for. I could tell I'm being recognized, but I don't know for what, if that makes sense.
Right, right. Absolutely amazing. Um, the next question here, and I forgive me, audience, if I have a hard time reading some names. I butcher a lot of names, so I apologize in advance. But we have a question here from Mel by Carillo. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name. And they asked how life is going for you. Any new career paths that you were going for?
Um, Well, life is pretty good. I'm still acting, but the thing that's tough about the life of an actor, after every job, you're unemployed and you never know when or if you'll work again, and that becomes very scary. or stressful. But thankfully I just found out that I got a little small part in a movie, and I'm gonna be doing that in August. So I have no idea when that'll come out yet. Hope maybe 2025. So I'm just very grateful that I get to act again and be on set, which is my favorite
Yeah.
place to be.
Huge congratulations, because obviously the strike was a huge you know thing that really took up a lot of time, and unfortunately put a lot of delay in the actors and actresses being able to get back to work. So you guys did a great job fighting for your rights, and very happy that you have a new role. So
Well, thank
um
you.
yeah. So um we have a question here from the Master 101.
The master. Wow, nice to meet you. This is an honor.
The Master 101. Now, they said, would you ever go back to Drake and Josh? Now, obviously, I guess they're assuming if there was ever a reboot, let's say, if you were
Yes.
to accept the call. So,
Yes, that's such an easy answer. Like when I started hearing the question, we're like, yes. Um, yeah, yeah, but I guess everyone else has to say yes also. So I have no idea if that would happen, but I feel like there would be a lot of interest, and there's so many reboots or things coming back, and I just love how happy the show makes people and has made people. So yeah, I if that ever happens, I guess I'd be surprised, but I hope that there's lots of surprises in life. So, do you think that'll happen? Do you think that could happen?
I really, I think that never say never, as they say. I think it really would just come down to Josh, in my opinion, because Josh is really doing a lot of
Not
roles.
just Josh.
The other Josh, he was in Oppenheimer, or Oppenheimer, however you pronounce that.
Yeah, and I won Best Picture, so he's on to. But sometimes you remember where you started, and that
Yeah,
was. So
yep,
who knows? Maybe if it's not now, but in 10, 20 years. I will say, being named Josh and being on Drake and Josh led to a lot of confusion, because usually when you hear your name, yeah, you look up, but on that show, I would say 100% of the time when I would hear Josh, it was never me. Um, it was never, because even though like right now everyone remembers Clayton, but at the time no one knew. I was just really just an insignificant, tiny, tiny part that no one called my name really.
right.
Um, but I do think because um, I guess Clayton was interesting. If the show did go on, or if there was another season, because I think it was in some of the last bunch of episodes I came on. I'd like to think, oh, they probably would have used me for more and called me again.
Yeah.
So if they did a reboot, I hope so. That I would,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the next question I have here is actually from a good friend of mine, who is Aaron. Very
Hi,
good,
Aaron.
very good friend of mine. She asked, "Was your character Clayton always intended to have the voice, or did you come up with that on your own?"
Um, so I auditioned for it, and in the audition there was no lines. It was just mumbling. And so that was my interpretation of mumbling. So it didn't even really say a voice. So I guess I just made my mumbling. I don't even remember what I did in my audition. And so many times you see actors like auditions or famous auditions on like YouTube, or they turn up. I don't think I've ever seen any one of my auditions, but somewhere again, my Clayton audition does exist, but I think I told you this when we talked previously, which everyone could find on
Yeah,
DVD,
childhood
Childhood
DVD.
DVD Fan. I
Yep.
auditioned for Drake and Josh a year earlier in the third season for a science fair episode. But yeah, for this one, I originally, I guess I was just mumbling, and then they gave me words. Some people don't think I'm saying words, but like in the science lab, and if you turn on your subtitles or captions, I'm telling Drake, you mix the stuff with the stuff, and you mix the stuff. You mix the stuff with the stuff, and you mix the stuff. Like, but when I auditioned, I didn't say those words. It was just mumbling. So yeah. But but the voice, that's my voice. and that's my, I guess no one said, "Hey, do it like that." So,
Oh, awesome. So the next question we have here is from CJ Productions, and they asked for a very specific scene in Josh is Done when Drake finally apologizes to Josh. You know, and which, in my opinion, I felt was Drake Bell's best scene ever.
mhm.
As an actor, because of the emotion in that. Um, they asked, "How did it affect you because of Drake's amazing acting in that scene?" Since you were in the science classroom, kind of when that was all happening.
Um, so I wasn't someone who watched the show, so it didn't have the same impact on me. I only watched the show for the first time, like the night before, to see, oh, what is the show that I'm going to be on? And
Right.
this was also my first. I did one show on like the E network on cable, but this is my first, like this was the biggest thing I was part of, and I was living in California for only a year and a half. I moved out to Hollywood to do this. So I was really just I hope I do a good job. I was thinking about me, what do I have to do? And I was just, I guess, trying to be present and live truthfully in that moment as Clayton. As I wasn't, as right now when I watch it, I could admire how great Drake was, but I don't remember at the time.
Right.
It was all new to me, just being on set, and I did think, "Wow, they're so good." Like Drake and Josh, and I remember um, in rehearsals that just from rehearsals, they were so good, and I remember seeing how sometimes they changed it. Um, and it was just great seeing, wow, I'm on a real working set in Hollywood with professionals who are so good. Um, so anything, my observation was more like just professional or technical. Like, okay, wow, I'm playing with the big boys now because I used to do community theater as like a teenager in New Jersey, but now this is the real professional stuff.
Right. And that the next question you kind of just pretty much answered in that question, and that from Christopher Hernandez, how it was like working with Drake Bell and Josh Peck. So
Yeah, and I'll tell you just some fun trivia. Drake is the person who introduced me to YouTube, which we are on right now. So I wouldn't have even known about this website, this app, if it wasn't for Drake. So most of my, or really all of my scenes were with Drake. Like in the science lab, I was with Drake, and then when he spits in my water, so I never really had any scenes with Josh, even though we're in the same scene, but our characters never interacted. So on set, I hung out and talked to Drake a lot more. We had just so much in common, and just loving old movies and old Hollywood movies. I think we bonded over that. But the person on my first episode in the science lab that I bonded with the most was Roki, who became Josh's new lab partner, because both of us were in the same position. We were both actors who auditioned and were cast on this show that we've never seen before. He also watched his lift for the first time the night before, and we're like, "Wow, we're in this brand new place. This is a huge set. We're on a huge, on the at the Nickelodeon studio." So we were just both like the fresh faces, fish out of water, and so it's kind of like we were going into it together.
right, right. Um, the next question we have here is from Mikey. If I try to pronounce the last name, I'd butcher it, so I'll just leave it at Mikey.
Hey,
And
Mikey.
they asked, "Do you find it crazy to share the same first name as Josh Peck?"
Do I find it crazy? Um, I don't, because I'm well versed in the world of Josh. When I was in third grade, there were 9 Joshes in my third grade class. And sometimes I would go by Josh S, but then there were other Joshes whose last names were S's. I sometimes I'm trying to be healthy, and if I go to the gym, I'm working on my like chest. I'll say I'm working out my Josh pecs. And sometimes, so thanks for the laugh. I know it's as corny, but I people also call me Jolly Josh. And one I told one of the on the second episode, which was directed by Roger Christensen, because whenever I look up for Josh, I guess to make it easier, I think I said, well, some people call me Jolly Josh, which he said, no, this is Jolly Josh, referring to Josh Peck. But if you go on imdb.com and you type in Jolly Josh, it goes to my page, not Josh Peck's. Just saying.
um, the next question we have here is from Board Girl Online with a little black heart emoji.
Wait, Board Girl? Borg,
Yeah,
like Star Trek, or bored, like
bored,
Bored?
bored.
Oh, I
Um,
hope you're not bored right now. I hope you're not a bored girl now. You have to. I hope you
um,
have to change your name to Happy, Satisfied Girl.
they just retracted their message, but I saw what it was, and
Oh,
they asked uh, if you're somewhat close still with Drake Bell or Josh Peck by any chance.
um, should I retract my answer because she retracted the question? Um, because we're all in LA, Southern California. Well, Drake had moved to is in Mexico, but
Yeah,
I would run into them at malls, and I when Drake did the Where's Walter thing, I participated, and I did a few of those things, and me and Drake have always followed each other. He followed each other on Instagram. Josh has never followed me on Instagram, but I follow him. And the last time I ran into him was on a hiking trail, and we and then walked for a little bit on the trail. And um, so I guess not socially, but we run into each other, and we're friendly, but we've never like hung out one on one.
right, right. So keep sending in your questions, guys. Don't worry. Kieran and Dara. I'm so bad with names. This will not be a live that will go away, so you don't have to worry about that at all. This will be on the channel forever. So um,
How's it going so far? What do you think we're doing? Are we doing good?
yeah, I think so. Definitely. I hope.
These are the glasses I wore on Drake and Josh. These are the actual glasses, and there's never been anything in the frame.
Amazing.
Even on the show, when you watch this, I didn't take them out for now. There was never anything. And I heard on The Big Bang Theory, Leonard also wears similar glasses like these, where there's nothing in them. So it's, I guess, TV magic.
Yeah,
Because you can't
definitely.
tell. It looks like regular glasses, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, so we have another question here from Christopher Hernandez, and they asked if you are a fan of their Drake Bell's theme song, which was the theme song to the opening of the show. I Found a Way.
Yeah, that's great. I think Drake's a great singer. I've always enjoyed his music.
We have a question here from Richard, which is a friend of mine as well. They say, Josh, you hosted Equals Three. Uh, what was that and Ray William Johnson like?
Okay, so I was guest host for Ray William Johnson because Ray William Johnson was not there that day. So I was the guest host, and so I never met him. Though there was a bit where we were talking to each other on the phone, but that wasn't even real, or wasn't on. I no, I yeah, I called him, I think, but it was they filmed my part and his part separate. Um, use some bad language on that show, which is very rare. I think it's very rare to hear me have bad language on camera. So if you want to hear it, I think if you search my name equals three, I think the episode is something crazy bazonga melons or something. Um, and oh, that was fun, but that was the most viewed YouTube video I've been on. I think that I
Hmm.
know of, where because I think I had like 3 million views, but the comments, oh my god, were brutal.
Really?
I like people. So thank you all. You guys are nice, but when you have a video that has 3 million views and you're the guest host and they're wanting to see Ray William Johnson and they get me instead, I've never read and such terrible things. And but the people who write the terrible things, they usually, if you click on them, they don't have a profile picture, they don't have videos, so they're just cowardly haters.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a question here from Tanya Harmon,
Hi, Tanya Harmon.
and she asked, "Do people request Clayton when for your cameos?"
Yeah. Um, they do. And that's so fun. I love doing cameos, and um sometimes they just want Clayton as the whole cameo, and I'll sing happy birthday, and I feel sometimes it's strange, but it's like, happy birthday to you," and yeah, and I got to be Clayton, and who knew, I guess when I did Drake and Josh that I would be making cameos as Clayton. But for I'll tell you, before Drake did the Where's Walter videos, which I wish were still online or were on his channel. I think maybe they're somewhere. People would say, "Oh, you should do Clayton on YouTube or on Twitter." And I didn't know if I was allowed to, and I was always nervous. But then after that, and I guess social media, I realized, oh, it's okay. I could do it. I used to wonder, isn't it can I get in trouble for being Clayton, even though I am Clayton? Because I didn't know if it's a Nickelodeon thing, but now, yeah, Cameo is not a thing for, like, television or other thing, that's just people's personalized videos, so,
Right.
uh, yeah, if any of you ever want a cameo as Clayton or anything for birthdays or anything, I love doing it, and if you do it and let me know that you saw this or you were watching this live, um, I'll make sure it's an extra long. Usually they're like a minute to two, but if you tell me that you came from here, I'll go more than 2 minutes.
So I would highly recommend doing that, guys. So um, we have a question here from Emily, not Emily. I think it's
It's
Emily.
Emily. Hey, Emily.
They ask if you have ever met Miranda Cosgrove.
Yes, I've met Miranda Cosgrove during Eric Punch's Drake, because we were right before I knocked on the door to ask, like she was in the scene, but we didn't interact in the scene. But I remember we played Connect Four, because there's a lot of when you do TV, a lot of just waiting and waiting for them to set up. I remember playing Connect Four with her, and she was very sweet, very nice girl. I remember her mom was really nice. And then, so that would have been in like 2006. But then I saw her again. I was invited to at Universal Studios Hollywood. They had a Despicable Me ride, and they had like the opening ceremony, and I got invited as a celebrity person to go to it. And she was there because she's one of the voices in the Despicable Me movies. So I saw her on the it was not the red carpet, it was the yellow carpet because Minions. And I didn't know if she'd remember me. And yeah, she remembered me from Drake and Josh and told me she thought it was funny. We took a picture together. So that's on my Instagram. If you want to go to my Instagram later, I didn't take any pictures on the set of Drake and Josh, and I wish I did. Especially seeing how popular the show is, that would have been great if I had like vintage behind the scenes pictures. But being a new actor just starting out, I didn't want to be high maintenance or hey, can I get a pic? Or, I didn't want. You know what I mean? I just
Right.
wanted to I guess, be professional, even though it would have been fine. But now I've learned, oh, it's good to take pictures, but it's sometimes hard. I never mind if people ask me for a picture. I love taking pictures, but I know sometimes people are weird about it. So even on recent shows I was in, like, I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to take pictures with the main cast, but I don't always do it. But I wish I did for Drake and Josh.
So the next question here and is from the Master 101 again. And they say there are rumors about a Wizards of Where We Plays reboot. Are you interested?
Well, those are more than rumors. They are filming that right now. It is called Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, and I am beyond interested. So if they called me and asked me to be on it, just like Drake and Josh, yes, that would be so fun. I love that show.
Yeah, and I know you got to work with Selena Gomez and all of them, and I'm sure that was great as well. You know, uh, so we have another question here from Erin, one of my good friends. She asked if Clayton would be such a beloved character almost 20 years later, in your opinion.
Would Clayton be a beloved character 20 years later?
Did you think that Clayton would still be a beloved
Oh, did I think? No,
character?
no, it's been such a surprise. I had no idea. I, I no, I had no idea. And I think it's become more and more popular, and I think by, like, 2011, I realized, "Oh, wow." Because I would say in the first 1 or 2 years, maybe some people saw it, but it wasn't as popular or people didn't. But now so many people, and the people who know it, they know it well and they're excited about it. And it's amazing because how many episodes of Drake and Josh are there? Like 65 episodes or
There
something like
there was 56 episodes
56.
and two TV movies. Well, three TV movies, but two like movies based. So
And when we were talking on Instagram, you gave me some interesting trivia.
yeah,
Um, that the two episodes I was in are the only two episodes without
Nancy
Nancy
Sullivan.
Sullivan.
Yeah, how
So
crazy is that?
I've never met her. I don't know if she knows I
She
exist.
she actually follows me on Instagram. We talk occasionally from there, and that almost made my heart drop when I got the notification she wanted to follow me. That was such a because I obviously watched her so much growing up on the show. That was crazy when that happened. We have another question from Melabai Corella, and I apologize, guys, for mispronouncing the names. I really do apologize. If you have any advice you would like to share for future actors,
Um, for advice for future actors, um, hmm, it's just it's a tough life. Like I said, because you're always unemployed, um, and I guess try to save money. I mean, this isn't so much about acting. This is more life advice, but just if that's what you're going to do, make sure like work as much as you could doing whatever side jobs and side gigs so you're able to save up and survive the struggling times. But right now, one of the best advices that I've been hearing and that I've even been advised is grow your social media, because that makes you more appealing to producers and casting or people who are hiring. And I've never had big social media numbers, but it helps. Uh, because even though, because sometimes I'm thinking, wait, I get recognized almost every day from these shows. I I wish all the producers or other people making shows or movies would know this because like, wait, he gets recognized. People they really like him. We should cast him. But the numbers I have on social media don't represent that because they're not like, oh, like he doesn't have 1 million followers, so maybe he's not that popular. But a
right?
lot of times they will look and see how many followers you have. And I think if social media existed when the shows were on, I think I would have a lot more. But I also need to be better about posting more. But my advice, if you want to be an actor, just start posting on social media because sometimes people are cast in movies just from their TikTok. So even without an agent or without being in Hollywood, you can just post on TikTok every day and post on YouTube, and that's a great way then to be discovered because so many people are cast off of those platforms nowadays.
Absolutely. And we're coming out on about a half an hour, so we'll take about one or two more questions. Uh, and guys, this is a very special live, so make sure to thank Josh for taking this time to spend with me and with you guys because this is truly, truly special. This doesn't happen very often. We have a question here from Richard, who's one of my friends. He said, "Josh, you were so great in both episodes." Which was Josh's done and Eric punches Drake for Drake and Josh. Do you have a favorite between the two by any chance?
Um, I don't do I have a favorite? It's interesting. I don't have a clear favorite. Um, but what was special for me for and this is unique just for me for Eric Punches Drake, because up until that point as an actor, I I was doing lots of commercials and I was regularly appearing in lots of different commercials, but I would do a commercial and then that was it. Drake and Josh was the first time, and I would always audition for those jobs. Drake and Josh was the first time when I was invited for my second episode, wait, I didn't have to audition. They liked what I did before and they're just offering me a job. And so that was like really cool. And so that was the first time I was on a second episode of something. That was the first time I was um and then just being someone who was returning was kind of nice. But Yeah, Josh is done. That was really fun just being in the chemistry lab. But I was probably more comfortable. I was probably more nervous during Josh's done. And I realized I'm answering just about what my experience and what I was thinking rather than which episode did I enjoy like watching more as a viewer. So I don't know if that was what the question was. Um, I've probably seen Eric Punches Drake more times, but I just from my experience, that was more because I felt I was more included. I was instead of, "Oh, here's just a guy who's gonna be one here one time and never come back and never back," I was welcome back as a returning host left. Did you guys see that? I guess it's just us now. So I'm the host now. Um, and I see Mel B says, I appreciate your time, Josh. And F First Peterson 26 asks if you're late. Yes, this is about to be over. Um, but it's gonna live on YouTube. It's gonna so you can watch this anytime. So hello, hey to everyone who is not watching this live, which will probably be most of you. Um, well, thank you everyone for watching. I don't know if our host is coming back. Um, so for the final question, Richard O'Brien asks for the Clayton voice. Okay, bye. Um, so I have to figure out. I guess am I going to be responsible for ending this? I've never been on like a YouTube live on my phone. So I wonder what's going to happen. Um, but I'm going to try to do this. Oh, there's technical difficulties. And Tanya.